All right, everyone. This is talk about irony. This one is hilarious. The legacy media is all like screwed up over this one and doesn't know really how to react. Mark Fisher has decided to wander off the Democratic plantation. He has decided to break the chains of the servitude of neoliberalism, which claims to care about ethnic minorities, but really, that's only during election season. Then you get voted for, and most of them are older and white too, anyway. And then they go on to do absolutely nothing. Well, he's decided to endorse Donald Trump, and he's doing the Dems are real racist thing. See, the funny part is he's the co-founder of the Rhode Island chapter of BLM. This is one of the leadership figures within the Black Lives Matter movement endorsing Donald Trump. If we needed a symbol of the slow ebbing away from the Democratic Party in the partisan rather than ideological sense, certainly of voters who are not white. We've already seen the numbers with Hispanic voters. The Dems are beginning to lose the entire generation, like the Gen X Hispanics are switching massively against them. They keep holding out, though, and saying, well, no. Trump can run it up in the polls with black voters, but in the end, he'll get like 10% or something. I'm thinking that it'll be other than that this time. And I think that's because increasingly, and I know I would feel the same way, after some time, some unknown number of decades of being told by a party that they love you and they want what's best for you and stuff, but things keep getting worse because everyone's got a wallet, everyone has to buy groceries and stuff. When your community has twice as many homeless people as it did 3 years ago, when there's more drug shit going on, when the crime rate is twice what it was, when your home got broken into yet again and everything got stolen and trashed and shit, when things are falling apart, the people who are making the decisions generally get ascribed the blame. Up until recently, what would happen is that welfare breadcrumbs were given to urban communities by the Democratic Party in the state and federal level. And the mostly white liberals who don't live in those communities, they have their chateaus and stuff, would say, oh, you little people, you poor ethnic minorities, we're going to come and help you. Don't worry, just vote for us. Over and over and over, they get voted for, and they fucking suck. And nothing is done. At some point, I guess, people began to get the memo that, hey, guess what? All of those millionaire NIMBYists up there that have Martha's Vineyard second homes don't actually care about you. They don't live near you. They have nothing in common with you. They don't have, their bank account has a 7-digit difference from theirs. Maybe if you keep voting for them, you're going to keep getting the same shit result. Donald Trump, to his credit, when he came in, reigned over a stable economy. And it's the economy, stupid. A black person and a white person are fundamentally subject to the same market forces as one another. So if the economy begins to suck, they both have suckier lives. If the economy's going good, they both tend to have better lives. It doesn't always evenly trickle down to every group within the United States. But there is a commonality there. It's called being a commoner. The 99%. Well, that's virtually everyone in the country. Absent a few million extremely wealthy people who control the rungs of power, people who are capable of making at least 5-figure political donations, if you're not in that class or above, so, the rather wealthy to extravagantly wealthy, the Democratic Party ain't for you. They'll claim to be by using a bunch of id poll, and the other thing, education. Black voters in many communities have spent decades complaining about school conditions in their communities, in historically black areas. And the Democrats always say, well, we want a higher educational budget. We're trying to help. It's the Republicans who are trying to starve you of their school. They're trying to put you back in chains, basically. And that was accepted. But the Democrats made one mistake. They decided to switch over from, we think that you're underfunded and we want to help through funding mainly, to, hey, just blame it all on an entire race of people, including most of us in Congress, because most Democrats in Congress are white. And I think that was a little bit too pointed and on the nose. And then they started attacking educational system. They're against school vouchers, for example. So, little Jimmy, the black kid, He is only about a half a mile from a much better school, and he's not allowed to go there, though, because of his geographic location. Well, little Jimmy's parents might not be too happy about that fact, because he might be a straight-A student, very straight-laced, and they're sending him to the school that's half run by the Crips or the Bloods or something like that. It's not a good look for the Democrats on education or on the economy. There's also the hilarious one, which is the border crisis. Black individuals that are underprivileged and do manual labor and things like that, and they're, by the way, white voters that fall into the same category. I know that the Democrats don't want to acknowledge that they exist, but they do. And they're seeing an influx of people who are willing to work for even lower wages. That's causing real goddamn friction. It's causing, by the way, ethnic friction as well. It's basically like you imagine the black neighborhood, and you know, you've got that traditional image of like the white family and the woman's craning out the window. There's a moving truck and a black family's moving in next door. It's just like, uh-oh, there goes the neighborhood. You know, sort of that old stereotypical trope of like the 60s and 70s, basically. And now, you know, you're going to have to modify it. And now it'll be a black family, and the woman's craning her neck out the window. There's a Hispanic couple moving in there. Like, uh-oh, there goes the neighborhood. You're going to have to like modify that. If somebody hasn't done that already, one of you that's skilled with cartoons needs to make it and send it to me in DM, by the way. Trump getting endorsed by BLM under any other circumstances would be inexplicable. We would assume that the dude was trolling. I would assume, oh, okay, the dude's, it's either, you know, he's just trying to fool with people, maybe just for attention's sake. Maybe it's reverse psychology. It's some sort of strategy. I think he genuinely means it. More and more people are getting away from the Democratic Party, but it's a broad section of society. Look at all the polling we've got for younger voters. Yeah, they still lean towards the Democrats, but it is not an overwhelming number. It doesn't mean that they necessarily support Trump. A lot of them go third party. Maybe they'll think about libertarianism and how that would be fun, but they're not supporting the Dems, at least not in the numbers they were before. I'd say it's actually the older voters are the ones more stubbornly clinging to their partisan loyalty. Probably because they don't feel economic pressure as much, because those older boomer voters in many cases still have disproportionately more aggregated wealth. So it might have something to do with the fact that somebody that managed to buy a yacht when they were 40 years old, retired at 42 with 10 million in their bank account, doesn't care quite so much about the economic conditions, and still yells at the grandkids, "Why don't you just pound pavement and find a job? By the time I was 20, I was financing my first home. Now I've got 3 of them." That's not the economic reality that most people work under anymore. I feel blessed at the fact that I'm not like flat broke living under a bridge or something because of the situation of my early life. It's happened to a lot of people. Millennials have gotten completely their asses handed to them more times than they can count. And we're on the verge of, by the way, probably another recession right now. Technically, we're sort of in one anyway, and that's hence the voting patterns that we're seeing in part. But like one officially called, like we've been shrinking again. Things are all whacked out. I'm not surprised. Again, a year ago, I would have chuckled at the article, assumed that it originated on 4chan or something. It was a joke. No, it's actually real. A BLM leader is deciding to support Donald Trump 2024. I think that's hilarious. That's about all. Peace out.